Okay. What I did was I just shut the OBS down because I've never seen it bump me offline that many times in a row. It would go off and on, off and on, and I was about ready to quit, but I really want to get through some of the stuff I have to say. So I guess Cog Hill Farm came in here. I see people saying hi. Oh, there you are. Hello, Jason. Okay, so better. Okay, and then it starts still, but better than frozen. Okay, yeah. That the freezing and the constant bumping me offline was a little odd. That's the buffering's normal. The bumping me off like that is not normal. So let me go ahead and start over. So some of you are going to be hearing a repeat if you're watching this. If you're watching the replay, I may try to cut the first part out. So yes, I use a Berkey water filter, but I don't. We built our own system out of plastic buckets. It's set up the same idea where you have the two with the filter in the top, and then we just put the rainwater in the top bucket and let it filter through the Berkeys. So and I usually put, I don't know if the link is already in the description box below the live stream, but I do link to where I get mine on Amazon. It's the best price I've seen because it's a 4-pack for $110. And when I first started buying them, it was a 4-pack for $100. So $25 a, or a little more than $25 now. A filter is actually really good. So please let me know if this is still going good. And if you have any questions, go ahead and ask them because I think I must be doing a little bit better now. So, and then the garden updates. So as I was saying, lots of rain, but that's normal for us. So a lot of you are getting lots of rain. That's abnormal to you. Lots of rain this time of year is normal for us, but not this cold that we're having. And the cold is what has been slowing everything down, everything. And so the blueberries are just now blossoming rather than having blueberries on them. I wouldn't have ripe berries quite yet, but I should have nice big green berries on there by now. But no berries yet, but at least we're getting blossoms. Okay, I just was answering the water filter question that yes, I use a Berkey, Evan Leon. So as long as you can hear me now, you should be able to hear that answer. Maybe it's just now getting to you because of the delay. Let's see. Okay. Oh, let me go through some pictures now. So we had to make another run into town yesterday, and I stopped at my favorite organic store. It's the only, because we don't have one locally, so it's only in the next town over. And I saw this, and when I saw the pretty flowers it gets and the aroma, I had to get it. Honey melon sage. I don't know if any of you have grown or are growing honey melon sage, but the aroma of this is amazing. It is a culinary herb as well as being ornamental, which makes it just, doubly good. I love things that are both beautiful. Well, I don't know. I think all plants are beautiful, so I shouldn't say it that way. But, things that have lots of vibrant color like these bright red flowers. That's if I can let it grow, because I tend to harvest my herbs quite a bit as they're going. So anyway, so let me know if you have any experience with the honey melon sage. It's got a very sweet, it's very aromatic, and I had to buy it. And then the other one I didn't get a picture of. The other one, now some of you know I've already grown lemon thyme. This one is called spicy orange thyme. Oh my goodness! Also has a very amazing aroma to it. The taste is somewhat similar to the lemon thyme, just a little more orange flavored, as you can imagine. So I picked up one of those while I was in there too. I couldn't help it. So, okay, and then I want to show you what my dwarf peach tree that's in the greenhouse is doing. The peaches are coming along. That's one of the bigger ones on there. It doesn't get super big peaches anyway, but they're really coming along, and it's very exciting to see. We've got a pretty good amount. We get a pretty good amount of peaches on this little bitty tree, and I'm hoping this year they haven't had a lot of flavor, but I'm hoping this year they will get they will have more flavor because we really piled the horse manure on to see if that would help. Okay, so, and I showed you my blueberry flowers at the beginning. Oh, okay, and see, here's one of the changes to the garden. Um, this is my potato patch, and you can see to the back side of it, that's where the chicken coop is that Mr. Rain is currently working on. And if you look close, you can see even the little nesting boxes at the back. But I'll get to that in a minute. So anyway, the cattle panels, what I'm doing here is, some people don't realize that potatoes actually can do quite well, even in full shade. And this area doesn't get as much sun as the main garden area, and my potatoes do quite well here. But even if, what I've got going on is I'm going to be planting my climbing squash plants, like my pumpkin, my spaghetti squash, loofah, and I also have some runner beans planted. I got those planted in there right now on either side of the cattle panel on the inside. And by the time those climb up to the top and would cause a lot of shade underneath, the potatoes would be harvested anyway. But even if not, it wouldn't matter, because potatoes don't mind shade. I've grown potatoes quite well in full shade. So I think you probably possibly get a better harvest if they have full sun, but I've done really well in shady areas. This gets, I would say, full sun. It just doesn't get as much sun as the main garden area does. So that's one of the new things we've done with the garden this year, is the cattle panels, and I'm very excited about that. I think it's going to look quite beautiful when my scarlet runner and sunset runner beans are up there, and then all my squash plants. I'm so excited. So and what else garden related? I think I have another garden related picture. Okay, well, the coop. Okay, so here's an update on the coop so far. It's actually farther along than this. I put this picture up on Facebook a couple days ago, but he's got a little bit more done than that, because he's got all the framing done on the back wall, and now he's working on the framing on the side to the left side of that picture. And so he's got the nesting boxes there, and then he's going to be putting maybe some cabinets right above the nesting boxes that we can store some stuff in, be it feed or whatever we need to store in there. Let's see, any advice on how to grow your potted herbs? T, I love you, T. You know, it's a lot of it's trial and error, finding which ones they're going to do best in the pots. But you do want to make sure you constantly are giving them something. Like, for example, with my blueberries, obviously they're going to keep working through that soil. So I keep having to add more. I don't add more soil. I just add grass clippings, chicken manure if I have it, and then blood meal. But mostly, excuse me, mostly grass clippings, because blueberries love acidic soil. So fresh grass clippings, I just keep piling them on there. Okay, yeah, this is going to be the chicken Taj Mahal. That's what he's calling it. So, but as you can see, the concrete's all poured, and yeah, he's getting busy on the walls there. Okay, and then here is, okay, this is my, you have to laugh. I should have got a better picture of this whole thing. So the big box I had the chicks in to start with was already getting too small, because they're growing so darn fast. I cannot believe how fast these guys grow. I mean, it's like a week and a half ago, they just were little fuzzballs, and now they're getting real feathers all over them, and they've doubled in size, I think. And so I took another box, the next biggest size box, but wasn't quite as wide as the one that they were in, and just cut out the side of the one, and then of each one, and then taped them together. This is like the hillbilly add-on, you know, like I'm adding onto a cabin. So, but they like it. They've got more room, but I'm wondering if I'm gonna have to add on again. So that's why that far side over there, where they're sitting on their little homemade feeder, looks narrower, because that box was a little more narrow. So it kind of has a angular shape to it where it matches up to the sides of the bigger box. T, I do want to get back to the thing about the potted plants. How long does it take to make your vinegars? Typically a month. Typically a month. It's going to depend on how much sugar is in there. The more sugar, the longer it's going to take, but you might end up with a better vinegar. You have to have some sugar though. You can't not have sugar. So if I'm making a mint, or some kind of herb or floral vinegar, I'm going to add sugar to it. So, yeah, because it has to have some sugar because it has to ferment and then it has to turn to vinegar. So typically a month. Now, you can have honey wine in a month, but the difference is the honey wine, you're going to put an airlock on it. Again, I don't make wine anymore, but I used to, so I know a little bit how that works. And so it's never getting oxygen exposed to it. But with vinegar, you're just keeping it covered the whole time with a cloth. It's, so it's getting that exposure, and that's what's going to turn it to vinegar. So it can take longer. A month is usually how long it takes for us, about 30 days. I usually have a real nice vinegar. If it's real bubbly, like I had somebody tell me theirs after a month, theirs was really bubbly, then you didn't let it sit long enough. However, it's still usable as is. I've had mine real bubbly and just went ahead and used it because it was really good. So, should be white, I think. Now, and here's another thing. A lot of people add the vinegar mother to their vinegars when they're making it. I never have, and I still always get vinegar. I've had a few batches that didn't turn out, but it's rare. Oh, I'm not even sure about that. I think I've had some where I've let sit too long and didn't use them up fast enough. But I have never added a vinegar mother to any of the vinegars I've made. I just do the little bit of sugar if I need it. If I'm using a fruit like apple peels and stuff, I don't add sugar. If I'm using, pineapple, pear, peach, I don't add sugar. It's just the peelings, the scraps of the fruits. Let's say I have a half-gallon jar. I just fill it up depending on how packed down it is. Like raisins, I'll only put about that much in at the bottom, about an inch to an inch and a half, and then top it off with water. Do not add sugar. It doesn't need it. There's lots of sugar in the raisins. But if it's peelings, I'll fill it about 3/4 of the way full of apple, peach, pear peelings, whatever it is, or all of the above. You can mix them together. And then I put the water in, cover it, and put it on top of the fridge and let it sit for a month. And then I have vinegar, and I just strain it out. It's vinegar. So, and you can get those expensive glass weights to put on top of your fruit to weigh it down. I see it's unnecessary. They're really expensive, but if you really want to keep it weighed down so you don't have the mold on the top, just take, if you have a half-gallon jar, then take a little half-pint jar, just the little narrow one, and just set that in there, and it'll hold it down. So, but you have to keep your vinegar exposed to oxygen. You cannot, if you seal it up too soon, the bubbliness will never go away. It'll always stay bubbly. And it will never fully turn to vinegar. It has to have oxygen exposure. So don't bottle it up until it's done. So I bottled some up before it was done, and I open it up and it's fizzy, but I don't mind that. It's kind of that point where it's vinegar, but it's still just a little bubbly. I like it like that, actually. So anyway, okay, so I went over the cattle panel thing, the chicks, the coop. I want to show you something I made the other day. It's something I make actually quite frequently, but I did something different with it. Not that you're going to be able to see in the picture. So this is my beef pot pie, and I make my beef pot pie anytime I cooked the roast you saw me cook in the solar oven yesterday. Well, it was actually done the day before, but the video I put up yesterday that shows me cooking the beef roast in the solar oven, well, obviously we're not going to eat that much meat in one setting, just me and Mr. Rain. I always like to do a big full roast, and then I use the meat to make the leftover that we don't eat to make several other meals. And so I really stretch it out. So one of the other meals I got out of it was a beef pot pie. This is normal. And what's different about this beef pot pie was using more of my greens, with the nettle and the dandelion greens and all that kind of stuff. And let's see, what else did I use? I used mushrooms, onions. You know what? I can't remember now. There was a bunch of stuff. But I used organic half and half, and it was actually my best I think this was one of my best beef pot pies I made. It was very tasty. But anyway, it's just what I do with leftover beef. I still have more leftover roast that I'll be using to do something else with. Like I might make some beef vegetable fritters. I find I like using ground beef better for those. They just hold together better. Let's see if I have any more pictures. I think that was it for pictures. So, okay, so that's the updates on the garden and the chickens. And then there's the dogs. So, let me see if there was something else. Okay, something else I wanted to talk about. Okay, let me see if I've got questions. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to ignore people. Let me scroll up and see. I think there might have been questions. Okay, you must have a ton of jars in your pantry. I do. Let's see. Okay, for those of you that had to go, I know it's too late. You're probably already gone, but bye Teal House. Trying to catch up here, people. I'm sorry. Anything in the pie crust? Oh, that's what it was. It was the pie crust that was different. You can stop in any time you want, but let me put the picture back up. This is what I did different with the pie crust. I just couldn't remember. This isn't really that different, but if you look close, you can see little black specks in there. I put poppy seeds, and I also put fresh dandelion flowers in my crust. And it turned out amazing. It was so good. So anyway, yeah, that was the difference. So I think my special guest is going to join me. Maybe. Are you? Possibly. Yay, look who's here. Long time no see.
Ta-da.
Mr. Rain is finally dropping in.
Hello,
Okay.
Rain people.
Okay, anything in pie crust is right. Okay. Did you make a video on making your hand soap? I did a while back. My liquid hand soap, there is a video on that, and I believe I linked to it in the video that I put up yesterday. Was it yesterday? Whichever one that I was talking about how to make the hand soap and blah, blah, blah. So, how big of sheet do I need to make a skirt for a size 16? My guess is about, if you're just talking about a flat sheet, maybe at least a queen. I always just get whenever I can get sheets, like if I'm buying them new, I always buy king size. You're going to get the best for your money. You get a lot of fabric out of that. You can use the pillowcases. You can use the fitted sheet. Just cut all the elastic stuff off. So I should say, are you wanting to type something? Do I have a recipe for dish soap? Simple Life? Not yet. I sort of do. That's Patrick saying hi, by the way. What I'm finding is using my hand soap. I tried doing something where I mixed it together and I didn't like the way it turned out. But if I use my homemade hand soap and use my homemade, it's really simple, my
Laundry soap?
No, my scrubber, which is basically just salt and baking soda, and put both of those in there. That works really good, but you have to understand, when you're using a natural soap that doesn't have all the phosphates added to it, it's not going to suds. You just got to know, you're not going to get all those suds. That's what the phosphates do. But the phosphates are the things that strip all the oils from your skin, and it's just really harsh. And even the
I love phosphates.
So I probably shouldn't say. I probably shouldn't say any brand names, but there's like a big brand name out there that I really like that makes a really good dish soap. However, it's not, it's claiming to be all natural, organic, blah, 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 but it is loaded with phosphates. I've been wondering how it was, because sometimes I just still trust, I'm silly enough to trust, oh, wow, this is organic. And I'm thinking, how is it they're getting this to sud so well? So I finally look at it, and what do you know? It's loaded with phosphates. So
yes,
okay,
you can.
yes, yes, you can on the grain mill, and we were kind of thinking about doing that. And yes, it has a groove in it like a treadle machine. That was one of the reasons I chose the Country Living grain mill, because you could just unscrew that handle and you can hook a motor up to it of some kind. We thought about, he's kind of been messing around with in the past with a motor. at this point, I don't care to have one, but down the road when we might want one, or because of time or.
What's funny is when we first were looking at those, you're at a couple of different options to get one with just a regular old-fashioned handle on it. Anyway,
I don't remember.
I said you're probably gonna want to get a motor with that thing and something with you put a V-belt on there, and she agreed to go ahead and get the one that's got the pulley, and well, incidentally, we still don't have a motor on there.
Yeah, it's like doing my arm, work the arms, especially now because we've cut back so much on our bread eating that I really don't even need to grind flour that as much. I was having to do it every day, and now I don't need to do it every day to keep up. So, somebody asked about the skirt. I'm not wearing the 3-tiered skirt right now. I like the 4-tier. I like a skirt that goes clear to my ankles. It can be a little frustrating working in the garden in it sometimes because I still step on it, and but I learned to work around it. Sometimes I just tie it up. I make ties and just tie it up in the front so I'm not stepping on it because it's when you bend over, then it's on the ground and then I step on it. But I like long skirts. I'm just that way. But the 3-tier would probably hit me mid-calf, I'm guessing.
So somebody's asking what brand? Are we talking about the treadle machine, or are we talking about the
We're talking about
grain mill?
Okay, the grain mill. Somebody said it looked like a treadle. So the grain mill is Country Living Grain Mill, and I linked to that quite a bit below my most if not all now my videos. I took the words right out of my mouth. Okay. Oh, that was talking to somebody else. Okay, let me see. Oh, the pretty pricey on the grain mill. Yes.
You're only gonna buy one in a lifetime.
Yep, it's built like a tank. This thing is heavy. And if you watch the video where he did the setup where he built the table and all that, you got to have something that you have it permanently attached to. The thing is heavy, but it will last forever. And it has, like he was saying, you've got all the options. You can grind by hand. You can hook it up to a motor. The bicycle idea was one that we thought of. So
it's got ball bearings in there. That'd be a standard thing if they ever wore out. You could just replace them with a standard bearing you'd get down at the hardware store.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing. It got stuck in all caps. I have 3 jeans with the knees out. Don't want to waste them. So yeah, I've seen people take jeans and turn them into really cute skirts. Me, I take them. I have a pile of jeans. My sons always give their jeans to me, and then I make these quilts like you see back here. This is the rag style. I also make the more traditional style, where the seams are on the inside and you tie it. Those are the ones that Mr. likes better. But, yeah, and yes, Brenda, that's, I've thought about doing that, like, yeah. I've thought about, like, actually sewing buttons or ties onto the inside of my skirt. But I've also just crocheted like a long strip and then had ones when I really needed it, and then put 2, a chain, and then had one hang out the front and one hang out underneath. And then when I wanted to tie it up, I just tied it up in 2 places right in the front so that I wasn't stomping on it. I like my long skirts.
English?
I'm speaking English. I'm trying to answer, talk these different questions and statements. Okay, let's see what else we have here.
So you showed somebody said something about the chicken house back there. Did you show pictures of that or something?
I showed you working on it.
Oh.
But it was a couple days ago, so you didn't have quite as much done as you have now. So slow but steady progress. Did you have anything you wanted to add, though? I didn't say a whole lot.
I'm slow but methodical. If I measure 10 times, walk back and forth to the saw, doubt myself, I can measure again. But in the end, I think it'll hold a chicken.
Oh, this thing's going to be sturdy. This thing could hold a Sasquatch.
It could hold baby goats.
I don't think Tommy Alderman's in here.
He's not.
Oh, it seemed like there was something else. Okay, somebody asked. Okay, I already answered the 3-tiered skirt. Okay, I mentioned the collaboration, so if you missed it, if you missed it, because I don't know when I had to stop and restart because it was bumping me off consistently, I do want to do another medicinal herb collaboration, probably in June-ish. So those, I hoping to get all the people that were involved in my last one involved in this one, and then add some more. So anyone who's growing some medicinal herbs, let me know. Email me at raincountryhomestead@gmail.com so you can get a part of that, because the first one that we did in February, I wanted it early so that people could look into what medicinal herbs they may want to try to add to their garden. And then I want to do another one where we're showing what our herbs look like, you know, when they're full and they're, yeah. And then maybe focus on, if you focused on a specific herb, like some people talked a lot just about lemon balm or comfrey, then talk about a different herb that you grow. So let me know if you'd be interested in that collaboration. And I do have, like I said, I can't remember what the other one is I'm thinking of, but I do have another one I'm thinking of. I'm kind of brewing. So, all right, and then elderberry syrup, and I didn't even have to take this yet today. So, I'll go ahead and sip a little bit. So, the elderberry syrup I'm finding when my throat, when I'm talking like this, and the nodules swell in my vocal cords from the use of so many years of teaching classes and singing.
Screaming at me constantly.
And I don't scream at Mr. Rain. I might holler at the dogs, but you know, having it when you're teaching ballet or, you know, anything like that where you're having to talk over the music, you know, that you do have to raise your voice a lot, and that's harsh. And singing all those years, I mean, from the time I was 14 on, I was involved in some kind of singing ensemble or choir, and it, you know, it takes a toll on your vocal cords after a while. Okay, wholesome roots, that would be cool. Yeah, so again, you can send me an email to raincountryhomestead@gmail.com and let me know, so I can kind of start putting together a list of people that would be interested in that. So, Vicky, sorry, I'm reading this question. I know this wasn't directed necessarily at us. That is a really good question. Marigolds are not near as medicinal as calendula. Not near as much. You can use them, but they're not going to have the same benefits. Oh, well, you do kind of have to have a channel. You have to, I mean, you have to actually have a video. That's part of the collaboration, is to put out a video about your herb. But it doesn't mean you can't get in there and comment and, you know, and interact. But that's actually a good question.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm just looking to see here. Hello, Farm Alarm.
Hey, Farm Alarm.
Okay, so the elderberry. So today, if I have time, I've got the stuff out. I'm going to try making my own, sorry, I'm trying to read this too. I'm going to try making my own, finally, throat lozenges out of elderberry, marshmallow root and leaf, cinnamon. What else did I get out? I think I'm going to add some peppermint. And there was one more herb that I got out that I was going to throw in there. I can't remember. But anyway, I'm going to give that a try. I'm going to make just a sample today and see how it turns out. And if I like it and I'm happy with it, then I'll make a bigger batch and make a video of it so you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm basing my recipe off of a recipe I found on one of my favorite web pages, which is, darn it, I forgot her name again. Wellness Mama. So Katie over at Wellness Mama. If you haven't checked her out, you got to check out wellnessmama.com, I think is the URL. But just type in Wellness Mama into your browser and you'll find her. She's got great recipes. And so and like my mascara recipe, and it's the mascara I'm wearing now, I got my basic recipe from her. I just tailored it to suit me because we're all going to be a little bit different. But yeah, I bought a bunch of organic elderberry cough drops a while back, or throat lozenges, and they taste good, but they're so rough. They just tear up the inside of your mouth. I don't know why they're so rough. So I really want to make my own. So, oh yeah, and honey. Honey is the only other ingredient, really. So basically, you have your herb infused water and honey. And so that's what I'm going to do. Okay. I should add some lemon to it. Lemon would be good. Anyway, I'm sorry. Mr. Rain's here, and I'm not even letting him talk, as usual.
That's all right.
Well, I was hoping he would. It's not very often he's here on a Wednesday, so.
What do you want me to say?
Um,
Hello, everybody.
Say hi.
Welcome home.
I talked about the chickens, about the elderberry. But yeah, the elderberry syrup has been very helpful for my throat. Whenever, like last night, my throat was just really bugging me in the middle of the night, so I got up and, because I was doing a lot of talking yesterday too. See. But anyway, it really helps me a lot. And this is the homemade. This has basically the same stuff. It's, elderberries and honey and cinnamon and cloves. So, hi, Shanda Glams. Okay, pardon me if you're watching replay. We're just reading through this stuff here. If Wellness Mama has a book, she might by now, but she has tons and tons of wonderful recipes on how to do. I swear, anything you look at it, just anything you can think of to make, you can find it there, and then you can just take it, and her recipes are great. But we all are going to be individual. That's why whenever I make my videos, how I do something, I strictly try to say this is how I do it. How you decide to make your deodorant or your tooth powder or your toothpaste is going to be entirely individual. I mean, it should be as different as we all are from each other. There's no one right way. What's up with this? What's up with it? Suspenders.
I was answering somebody's question.
The suspenders are overalls. The suspenders. Yeah. That's
I do have.
He does have
overalls.
You haven't worn your overalls in a long time.
Overalls in a while, but yeah, these are
the
same color.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're
Carhartts.
They might be.
Yeah, Carhartts are the standard out here. Probably the standard in quite a few places.
But you can't get the coveralls out here anymore.
Yeah, you can't. That's why you don't wear the coveralls anymore. We can't get them here anymore. But it was a long time before I even started wearing those. Okay, sorry. Okay. Let me read some comments, people. Oh man, steroids are the worst. Oh wow, Vicky, that's terrible. Good grief.
What?
See, and that just shows you. Okay, I became very ill last year due to steroids, and it actually made her, the steroids that she was given, allergic to her dogs and her chickens.
Ooh.
And almost all shampoos and all yarn dyes. Well, most all shampoos are terrible anyway, unless that's why I make my own. And I did make that video, or I'm still working on editing that video. I have not had time to finish editing that darn video, but I hope to get it up soon. Let's see.
Oh, SG was asking about Ryan's house. Thanks for asking, SG.
But gosh, yeah, we haven't done any updates.
We're finishing touches, and so the big things that he has to do left are outside, and we're just starting to get into outside weather right now. He's going to replace all the windows. He is going to repaint. He's going to also replace the upstairs porch that goes out and overlooks the yard. And so all that has to be done yet. He got an extension on his construction loan. Just haven't had the time or the weather to do any painting outside, but we're all set up for that. We're gonna use a sprayer and different things on that, so it should go fairly fast. He pressure washed the lower story of the house this last week, and so it's in the process of drying out, but it's looking really good. The inside finishing touches. You got the downstairs all the hard surfaces in on the floor, washer and dryers in, and toilets in downstairs. So it's pretty much just finished work right now. Small stuff. So,
Yeah, I
yeah.
need to get over there
It's-
again and see it in person.
Yeah, it looks like a
because
brand new house on the
I
inside.
know he's got his washer and dryer in right now, and so you know what that means? That means mommy doesn't have to do his laundry anymore. Yay!
That was a good excuse for him to come over, though.
And Vicky, that is so sad. Yeah, I've seen what's been done to my mother, you know, but I'm glad that you're healing. Um, and being allergic to steroids and antibiotics isn't a bad thing. I think they're bad anyway. So it's best to just avoid them, whether you're allergic to them or not. Because, yeah,
You know,
it's
being
just,
young, we know when they started coming out with a lot of plastic products, I always wondered what kind of effect plastics have on your body. Because, you know, your body is,
Interesting.
you know, your skin. That's
Yeah.
what the
Largest
largest
organ.
on in your body.
constantly being
And
exposed to
yeah,
it.
it's a sponge. So anytime you come into contact with chemicals or any liquid or plastics or blankets or whatever it is that you're coming into contact with, it might sound kind of weird, but you know that stuff. You know,
Yeah,
your skin is a living, breathing organism, and so
right.
I thought that was kind of interesting when I was
Yeah.
a kid. Kind of wondered about, you know, when they started coming out with all those plastics, you know, and then you get into a new car and you got the new
Right.
car smell,
Right,
you know, and you
bullet.
got all that uh, vinyl and whatnot that
Yep.
you're rubbing up against and breathing, stuff off gassing all the time.
Right. Right. So, hormone disruptors, exactly. Dr. John Bergman said that if you can't eat it, don't put it on your skin. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Right, SG.
Right. Right. Just think how many toxic ingredients people, you know, I think of me, because I've always had really dry skin, so I got in the habit of lathering my skin up every day
Mhm.
with lotion, every inch of my skin. I don't do that anymore. In fact, the only place I put any is my homemade stuff. It's on my face, my hands, and my feet, and sometimes on my knees if they get a little dry, and elbows. And I don't need that stuff anymore. Isn't that funny? Because here's the other thing. Your body, you know, it's like anything. You become dependent on that, so you have to have it, and yeah, and you just stop using it. It's going to take a while for your body and your skin to adjust, but I'm curious to know how many people. I noticed Doug and Stacy said this the other day, in their, you know, because they went to that Baker Creek thing and they're being exposed to a lot of stuff they're not used to. Well, I've noticed, like, since we've gone more natural and, you know, I don't wear perfumes. I only wear essential oils as a perfume, if I do that. Making my own shampoos and my own whatever. And since we've been doing this, I can't even walk down the laundry aisle anymore. I find now I'm very sensitive to any of that stuff, you know, or somebody walks by wearing some kind of synthetic perfume and oh my goodness, it's just like, it just makes me feel ill immediately. I can't handle it. But we're not supposed, see, you know, you get used to that stuff, but just body adjusts to something that's toxic doesn't mean it's not killing you. Okay, so I don't mind being sensitive to it, because that just reminds me you should be sensitive to it, because your body's telling you that's bad news. You need to get away from it. Yeah.
When you sneeze, it's for a reason. When you itch, it's for a reason.
Well, yeah, even when you throw up and anything else, it's for a reason. Your body's doing what it's supposed to be doing. It's eliminating toxins. You know, when you sweat, when you get a rash, those are happening because your body is trying to eliminate toxins in every possible way it can. You know, we look at these things as the symptoms as being evil, when actually the symptoms, that's your body doing what it's supposed to do. You know, that's why it's so wrong that you got doctors treating symptoms when the symptoms are a reaction in order to help your body deal with whatever the problem is, such as high blood pressure. Okay, you've got high blood pressure because you're in a chronic state of fight or flight. Okay, chronic high blood pressure isn't the problem. It's the underlying problem. Why are you in a constant state of fight or flight? What kind of underlying health issues do you have? What kind of stressors do you constantly have in your life? You know, is it something outside. Maybe it's not something inside. Maybe it's job related. Maybe it's family related. Maybe it's whatever. It's those constant stressors.
It's running away from
Me?
skillets all
Skillets?
the time.
See, you guys have to have missed having him around in the live shows. So
Oh, my infinite wisdom.
we
huh?
might be able to start seeing him more again. So, and the doctor, yeah, right, Vicky. I get so fired up and angry whenever I see another story of somebody that tells me how the doctor was treating a symptom and made them more sick than before. But it's happening to everyone. It's like my mother, okay? She's put her trust in doctors for so long, and all they've done is make her more ill. They throw more medications. I have no idea how many medications she's on. It's unreal. And there's nothing I can do about it. But, they just get, oh, now you've got diabetes. Let's throw all this at you. Oh, now you've got this. Let's throw all this at you. Oh, now you've got MS. Gee, I wonder why. Because all the years of being on, all these antidepressants and fake sugars. Fake sugars can cause the gray matter lesions that cause MS. I tell you, it's one thing after another, and I can't do anything about it. I can talk, I can tell her, but she's at the mercy of her doctors, and who am I? I don't have a license in anything. I just, there's a point, people, where Patrick, there's a point where anyone, I don't care what you're educated in or how educated you are, if you just sit back and think and listen and use some common sense, which I know a lot of you people that are already in here have done, you would say, wow, there's something wrong with our system. It's seriously broken. There's something wrong with us having to why are so many of us on so many synthetic chemicals to make us feel better? Or they're not healing us, they're not making us better. So we just got to step back. I even when I was a kid, like when I had to get braces, or a lot of the different things that you see people have to get done. I remember thinking, well, what did they do 2,000 years ago when they had crooked teeth? Guess what? They didn't have crooked teeth because they ate right. So their jaws were developed correctly to hold all their teeth. So yeah, there could have been a possible random crooked tooth that was just whatever, but it wasn't this big deal. And I mean, that goes with everything. Everything. They weren't dealing with hypothyroidism. That was just not heard of. Neither was cancer, which, by the way, cancer is something we all have. Cancer cells, right? We all have them. A lot of people don't realize that. But they serve a purpose. Cancer cells serve a purpose. It's when they get out of hand, and they get out of hand because our body because all this exposure, right, to all these toxins, everything gets out of whack, and the cancer cells take over, just like Candida. These things actually serve a purpose in our body, but when everything's out of balance, then the bad things will take over and turn against our bodies. So we're not, again, so let's treat these things with something, that's totally unnatural, that's going to kill you, rather than getting to the source of the problem and fix it. Hello. It's a broken system.
Your body's meant to repel certain toxins, but when it gets overloaded, then
It gets overloaded. Yeah, it's going to start turning on itself.
Yeah.
Well, I shouldn't say it's not a broken system to those who stand to gain a lot of money from it. So this is usually about the time I start buffering heavily when I get on my soapbox. Remember? Yeah. But maybe it got itself out of the way. Leaky gut. Yep. All of that stuff. Right, people. 17 prescriptions a day. Oh my goodness, Tina. Wow, it's not right. Well, now that you bring up the menopause thing, let me say something about that. No matter who you are, and how healthy you are, you're still going to have some symptoms, but they should not be like we've been taught in the past 50 years that they're supposed to be. You're supposed to have all of this stuff. You're supposed to have all this depression and mood swings and hot flashes and the hot flashes are somewhat understandable and might be somewhat normal. But if you look, okay, here's what I did. I have this old book, medical guide. And years ago I looked in there to looked up menopause symptoms. The list was probably about that long. You look online now at menopause symptoms, they're that long. Why is it? Why is it? Okay? And here I am at that point in my life, and I'm not dealing, I was going through hot flashes for a short period of time, and they just stopped. They may come back, but as far as, that was about it. You know, there's a few other things like the achy skin, but for the most part, I don't have the severe depression or the mood swings like, not like I did when I was a teenager, for crying out loud. I'm a lot more stable than I ever was in my life now.
She's always been mean as a bag of snakes.
Mean as a bag of snakes.
So I don't think anything's changed there.
Not all snakes are mean.
A bag of snakes is pretty mean.
Maybe. Especially if you shake them up. That's what he does. He just shakes me up. There. So, anyway, I would say I don't think there's a need for hormone replacement. Our bodies were made to, I mean, okay, look at this. When they started putting women on hormone replacement therapy to make them feel better, what happened? They all started getting breast cancer. Why? Because we're not made to be exposed to the estrogen for the entire amount of our life. It's only for a period of time. And then it's supposed to be over with. We shouldn't have to keep replacing. So soy, get rid of the soy. They say, oh, well, you can take soy. No, soy is bad news. We're not supposed to, it's not even a food product. Okay, we should not be eating soy in any form. And in using soy to replace, see, you're overexposing yourself to estrogen, and you know, which is an estrogen mimicker. Stay away from estrogen mimickers. That's not how we were created. And so we shouldn't need hormone replacement therapy. We shouldn't need it. There should be, I'm sailing through this whole menopause thing pretty good, wouldn't you say?
Yes, dear.
Yes, dear. And about the skillet lumps on your head, okay? Ding! Okay. No, I mean, but seriously, I am honestly have been so just at how you know, as far as emotional, the mood swings that you're supposed to have, they're not there. They're just not there. I mean, sure, I'm a girl. I'm gonna cry when I get emotional sometimes. I'm gonna, you know, sure, I have emotion, as you can clearly see, but this is just me. This is who I've always been. And I've suffered severe depression before, and that was back when I first was dealing with hypothyroidism. And that, I know what severe depression is. I know what that kind of stuff is. I'm not dealing with any of that stuff. That stuff is long behind me. And I'm not on any kind of hormone replacement therapy. I'm just sailing through this thing. Okay? I think the biggest issue, I don't have the hot flashes anymore. My biggest issue right now is just the achy skin. And, you know, whatever. You know, I'm doing good. Oh, am I buffering now because I said it? Usually if I say big pharma, that's the one that does it. But since we've reached our hour, if I start buffering, it's like, okay, I'll just leave. Every time I say big pharma, bam!
Soapbox.
Okay. Thank you, Vicki. Yes, right. So just look into natural ways of living and doing things and just being. Just live. I think that's a really good way to avoid all this garbage. And no need for medications or hormone replacement, even in a natural form. I'm not saying a natural form is bad, but then again, sometimes you have to watch things that say natural are not truly natural, or they might be natural, they might be things that grow in nature, but they may not be good for you. They just like soy. Soy grows in nature, but that does not mean it's meant to be consumed. So, yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. There I go. And now I'm dribbling on myself.
Cool you off a little
Right in
bit.
front of everyone. That's because it was because of the mint leaves in there kind of got hung up and caused it to dribble all over
You're not just
myself.
getting excited, right?
Oh, that too. Okay, I'll step down. Does Mr. Rain have anything before we go? Anything else he would like to add? Since I've been,
I've just been enjoying the show.
have you laughing at me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
been tired lately.
Okay. Oh, wow. Yeah, Sullivan family. Boy, that thing is really behind. I'm still seeing the picture of my pie down there.
Oh.
That's crazy. Oh, that's just because yeah. All right, so are there any questions? We should probably get off here because we got busy stuff to do. Chicken coops to work on.
I have to outrun the chickens.
Skirts to sew.
I have to build a chicken house before the chickens get big enough
Yeah.
to outgrow.
Burst out the side of the box, and I'll have to do another hillbilly add-on to the box. I'm running out of room for the babies, but they're healthy. Oh, and by the way, I've been putting in their water a little bit of colloidal silver, or actually, I suppose I got to understand this better. But what we make would be ionic silver, apparently. Whatever, it's one of the two. All I know, we've been using it for years, and it works amazingly well for us, the dogs, whatever. And so I've been adding that to their chicken water, plus a little bit of my homemade vinegar. And they're just drinking it up, right and left. I don't know, maybe that's why they're growing so fast.
They're worth a little bit more now.
I'm trying to teach them to eat slugs, getting slugs. I find it, if I put little tiny slugs in there, they still won't eat them. But if I cut them in half and give them to them, they seem to eat they like the guts. So I want to teach them to eat slugs so they will
Chicken in training.
de-slugify our garden. And I haven't named them yet, SG. I have names picked out, at least some, but I haven't given them specifically to them. I'm waiting for them to get big enough so that they can have their specific, colors and things that I can tell them apart better. There's 3 of them that are darker. They're more of a gold color, and then the other 4 have kind of a lighter colored head. So one of the lighter color ones I'm going to name Pearl. I know that. I'm going with old names. For some reason I'm just liking the older names, like Pearl and what was
Old Blister?
No, not Old Blister. That's me. I'm Old Blister. Anyway, I got sidetracked. I had a bunch of names, but now all I can think is Pearl. And there was a bunch of them I had picked out. I was thinking, dang it.
Bertha?
No, not Bertha. Anyway, some older names like that. I want to name them older names. I had a whole bunch. I think I was going to name one Minnie, so then I'll have Minnie Pearl. So, but I got to wait and see which one's going to be the smallest one. And I'll name that one Minnie. And then the lightest colored one I'll name Pearl. And then I think I had, oh, darn it. I should have wrote them down. Anyway, I had them all in my head, and now they're gone because you put me on the spot. That's what it is. Okay, so what was the question on, okay, the colloidal silver. I bought one bottle of colloidal silver, huh?
Amber?
Amber? I don't see Amber as really an older name. I was thinking maybe Agatha
Yeah, but
or
it fits,
Aggie.
though. They're kind of a yellowish.
Yeah. There was an M name I was thinking of. I wanted to say Maggie, but I don't think it was Maggie. I think it was something else.
Maria.
Okay, so the silver. Sorry.
Mary.
Shush. I can't remember the name of it. I've linked to it. I think I linked to it in one of my colloidal silver, or one of my videos where I mentioned colloidal silver. I know there's only one where it shows me making it. But yeah, I only bought that one bottle. And when I seen how well it worked for healing eye infections in our dogs and other things, I decided it was time to learn how to make our own. And because it cost me $40 for that bottle, I bought a 16-ounce bottle. I'm sorry I don't remember the name. I know it had blue and silver on the label. I'd recognize it if I saw it. But let's see, what was I saying? Oh, darn it. Oh, I am so sorry. What was I saying?
Agnes.
Agnes. Oh, Matilda, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember. There was some other names. I was thinking June. It was another one I had picked out, but no, there was another one in particular that started with an M, and I don't think it was. I don't think it was Maggie. Maybe it was, but it seemed like it was different.
How about meat?
Meat. Maud. That's a good one too. Gertrude, Ethel, Adeline. Ooh, Ruby, Constance. These are good names. Lucy. I'm liking these. Now, no, it wasn't Blue Ridge Silver, but I'm sure there's just about any of them out there that were good. I got it on Amazon, and it was the best. Oh, I know what I was saying. So I paid, at that time, $45 for the 16-ounce bottle. I think it's up to $50 now. Well, then, it was about a year later, I bought 2 bars of silver, 99.99% silver, and that cost me $40. And then he built the little generator. And then we have our rainwater, and that's how I make it. And so that one investment has saved us hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars.
Oh, you haven't gotten a bill for that, have you?
Nope.
No.
And I won't. So, but yeah, it wasn't called Blue Ridge Silver. I wish I could remember. I want to say Silver Wings, or no, I don't think it was that either.
Silver Lungs.
Myrtle. No, Silver Lungs is the system where you can buy and make your own. But anyway, so yeah, anyway, I've been putting the silver in the chicks, watered, and the vinegar, and it seems like they're just doing really good. And
Myrtle.
Because I don't believe in medicating. I did watch some videos where a guy's I think it was one of his hens, she got really ill, and he started putting his homemade silver in the water, and within a couple of days she was totally back to normal. Just like that. No store-bought medications, no medicated feed or anything like that. So
Gertrude's a good name.
I like Gertrude. I think I'm going to write that down. Gertrude. There was
Lucy Green gets the credit for that one.
There was a bunch of them too. What was the other ones? There's Adeline.
Ethel, Ruby, Constance.
SG had a couple of good ones too.
Yeah.
Agnes, Matilda. Yeah, so I gotta wait until they have some kind of markings or attitudes. I'm starting to see
they all look the same.
Yeah, they all, other than the 3 that are darker and the 4 that are lighter, they all kind of look, there's just nothing really to tell them apart. Though I am starting to see some personalities develop. Some that are a little more demonstrative than the others, and kind of trying to, almost like they're trying to herd the other ones, which made me think maybe they're roosters, but because I know there's still that 10% chance we could end up with a couple of roosters in there, so we'll see. I don't know how long it takes for for that to be apparent that one's a rooster, and
he finds out soon enough.
Yeah. So, and then I'll have to, if that's the case, I still would really like to keep a rooster, even though my neighbors would not appreciate that. But I really like the idea of being able to have our own chicks and not have to keep buying chicks. And also because roosters, what do roosters do? They serve a purpose other than just crowing and letting you know it's time to get your lazy rear out of bed.
They help in making more chickens.
And making more baby chicks. They also are very good at taking care of the flock. They herd them together. They let them know when there's danger. They're always looking out for the hens, and just watching them. One day we were up the road, and Pat was talking to someone, and I was just sitting there watching this rooster and the chickens, and how he kept kind of trying to keep them in a certain area. I'm like, that is so cool. And yes, they're very protective, and so I like that idea. Even though he's building a virtual chicken fortress, I still don't want to, go into this assuming there's not ever going to be a time that something's not going to try to get after them, especially when we do try to let them free range in the garden as much as possible. We're going to try to do that, especially in the winter time, so they can get in there and get all the bug eggs and all that. But anyway, so if we do get a rooster, one of them does end up being a rooster, I'm going to look into the crow collar. I'd like to learn a little bit more about that. Just for the sake of my neighbors. A crowing rooster does not bother me because I am up very early, but I know it would bother my neighbors very much so. So I am going to, I'll look into that. And, I know there's a couple people that have mentioned it to me. It looks like it's just a soft padded thing that just discourages. I don't think it hurts them. I think it just prevents them from crowing, and eventually they just give up.
Yeah.
So, we'll see. As long as it doesn't hurt them or anything, I'd be cool with that.
Henny, Penny, Sunshine, and Lou. Harriet and Henrietta.
Well, it's funny because I was thinking if one is a rooster, I'm going to name him Henry. I like Henry.
What if I don't like Henry?
Cordon bleu, cacciatore, pot pie. Oh, you've seen mixed stories and reviews on the crow collar. See, I haven't really looked into it, Sullivan family, and that's what I'd want to know before I went with that. I like the sound of roosters. Especially in the middle of the night when somebody's creeping around, a rooster will let you know when there's trouble. They're like an alarm system.
Tina says Edith, Martha,
Harriet, Beatrice. These are great names, people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now we don't have to think for ourselves.
I should have just asked that question. Beet rice. I always think, I know it's Beatrice, but when I was a kid, I remember seeing Beatrice written down, and I thought it was on a stuffed animal. I'm like, why would they name the stuffed animal Beet rice? What a stupid name is that? Then finally one day it hit me. Oh, it's Beatrice. Yes, my grandpa's name was Henry. It's a good name.
Mixed stories on the crow collar.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm gonna have to look into that. Rue, Dom, and Charlie are roosters. Cool. Okay. Well, we should probably get going. We got a lot of work to do, as usual. I don't want to cut everybody short. Thank you for all the great names. I like something cacciatore. Yeah, I even got the little Italian thing in there. Thanks, SG. So, I'm sorry about the first part of the show where it was all messed up, and unfortunately I lost a lot of people during that time, but I don't know if this will link together and all play together. I might just cut that first whole part out since it was so lame, but we'll see how it plays. So don't forget to check the replay. I'll probably go ahead and post this one on Saturday, but we'll see. Maybe I'll publish this one tomorrow. I don't know. I might change things up a bit. I still have to put up that hamburger mac and cheese recipe video that I was showing you guys last week. So I think I'll put that one up on Friday. All right, and everyone, so thanks for dropping in, and just kind of my fly by the seat of my pants show today, and my special guest star who didn't get to say much because his wife talks way too much. So anyway, we're gonna go. Thank you, everyone. Take care, and God bless.